2, 1, Marko, izvoli.
Pozdrav ekipa, danas specijalno izdanje, podcast Borilačkog specijala, zato što imamo dva gosta koja sam htio jako dugo vidjeti ovdje zajedno. Imat ćemo slavnog trenera, jednog od najpoznatijih kickboxing trenera današnjice uopće u povijesti, Mike'a Passeniera. Kasnije će nam se pridružiti i Gloryjev kontender u teškoj kategoriji, izazivač glavni, Antonio Plazibat, naša trenutačno jedna od najvećih zvijezda svako u borilačkom sportu. Prije što krenemo, predstavit ćemo vam novi Xiaomi 11 Lite 5G, lagan poput pera, 64 megapikselna kamera, AMOLED zaslon, new edition, jel tako? Tako da čekirajte, kod Xiaomija imaju novi, znači ima 11 Pro i ovo je 11 Lite 5G, tako da čekirajte, imaju novi proizvod, s njega ću čitati u Q&A-u pitanja i odgovore. Ovo na početku, mali disclaimer, ovo što imam na glavi, to je žali Bože i ovaj Hambi, ubit ću te Hambi. Znači od svih podcasta do sada izabrao je lik, naravno ovaj koji će vjerojatno biti najgledaniji, naravno da mi ga metne onako baš mučki, đubretarski. Žao mi što nije bilo plave boje kako mi je narasla kosa, jebi ga, onda nije bilo dovoljno plave, a u prodavaonici nije bilo više plave pa sam žut. Eto, sorry. Izgledam ko Eminem, kaže Simke, ali Hambi ti, joj, kako ćeš nositi rundu u tangama, buraz. Još ćemo ti one nabildane noge odbrijati, jedva čekam. Tako, i još jedan disclaimer, nisam 2 godine govorio engleski s obzirom na ovu pandemiju i sve, tako da ispričavam se ako bude neki problem, ali mislim da neće biti. Mike, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to Podcast Inkubator. It's been a while since we talked to each other, since we saw each other, but you are just getting younger and younger. Thank you one more time.
I do my best.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I hear a lot of great people that sit in this couch, and I was wondering why not me.
Yeah, when I talked to Antonio almost a year ago, he told me, it would be a good idea to bring Mike because he's one of the most known people in coaching when we talk about elite kickboxing and elite fighting sports. And I said, man, this would be a great idea, and I'm glad that today you two together are here. Yeah. So how are you doing, Mike? What's going on with you? You're here in Zagreb. You're working, as I hear, a lot of good fighters that you have. So your gym is doing great again. So what's up with you?
Yeah, nothing much, just doing the same thing because I believe in what I do. And I always do the same thing, so I can't go wrong with that. I try to adjust it a little bit, every time and also on every fighter. But so far I'm good. The gyms are still open, luckily, because now we have some kind of, it's not really a lockdown, but we cannot be open after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So now we're open from 5 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. It's a little bit different, but we can be open, we can do what we love to do, and that's fighting and training, and I'm very happy about it.
This period behind us, almost 2 years now, this pandemic is actually ruining the world and everything. So how did you manage to cope with it and to still be open and to work with such a large amount of fighters in this period?
I think it was harder on the fighters than on myself, because we needed to close. I made a deal with the members of the gym that the money they paid during the time that we were closed or trained outside, because we also trained outside for a few months, and this money I just paid them back in a small refund, so they can make so they can buy stuff, they can buy t-shirts, new gloves, Sometimes when you have a bad period, you want to have some new gloves. No, and now they could buy the new gloves, new shirts, new shorts, or protein, or whatever. And a lot of the customers thought it was a good idea, and that's how I managed to cope with, with this pandemic, of course. And with the fighters, well, during the time, not only I changed the gym, you know, by putting in a new floor, you know, everything that's loose, while, you know, we just fixed it. I bought some new equipment also, and I put in a new wall, so all the machines are in 1.5 meter from each other. Now the kickboxing is a little bit closer, but we got this Olympic status, so that means I can train with fighters who has an Olympic status.
This is because you have like the highest level of fighters, so they allowed you to work like an Olympic sport. Like
yes, just and also Olympic sporters from different kind of sports can come to my gym to train when all the other so-called normal gyms has to be closed. So this is what I've done with the gym in the meanwhile. And we also got in Holland, it's got this Fighting Sports Authority. I got also my license. I should be audited this Thursday, but because of the lockdown at 5 o'clock and they need to see the lessons, it's postponed. But that's also another thing, you know, because in Holland they want to do it differently. They want to do it more controlled, because now everybody can do anything. And now they say, okay, listen, you want to fight? Okay. Is the gym from the Fight Sport Authority? No. Okay, you cannot fight. Okay. Is the trainer, does he has the rightful diplomas or the papers? No. Okay, you cannot fight. You know, and so it takes away all of the excesses in sport. I don't say that these are bad trainers or worse gyms or whatever, but some are not giving the sports a good name. Anybody can do anything, and there is nowhere anybody can say, hey, listen, this is not good for the sport. They say, oh, okay, and next week you see them somewhere else, and now there's going to be a Fight Sport Authority. It's something like a FIFA or a UEFA,
like,
you know?
Like federation.
Yes, and they say, oh, stop. You did wrong for the sport, you've been banned for 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, or you've been banned for life or whatever. I don't know how they do with these kind of punishment. Yeah. So that's a good thing, you know. I was working on that. In the meanwhile, we started training. We tried to pick up where we left. And
was it harder to find fights now because a lot of events were cancelled? We even know that Glory was practically in lockdown for some time. Then they started working. There were some fighters who were lucky, like Antonio. He got few chances and managed to fight few times, but a lot of guys just couldn't manage to find fights, and then a lot of them just stopped fighting and started working in security and stuff like that. Did you have, okay, you have the highest level of fighters, but you have also a lot of fighters on the middle level. Did they have problems fighting fights, and did you have problem fighting fights?
Well, right before the lockdown and during the lockdown, some fighters left me. A big deal of fighters, actually. And, you know, I just was thinking by myself, and I said, well, listen, let me focus on the fighters who are willing to train with me. All the organizations around the world, they know, look, if we need a fighter, we call Mike. He has one. Yeah. You know, and that's also it was also the start with Antonio. They called me in, I don't know, 10 days notice. Do you want to fight Noradin? I said, yes, why not? And I didn't even discuss it with Antonio. And then I just called him and I said, listen, just come to the gym tonight 10 minutes early. And I said, look, we can make the debut in Glory. It's going to be in France, Paris, I think it was. And he said, yeah, great, coach. When? I said, yeah, well, in about 10 days. 10 days. 10 days. Yes. Okay. I need your passport. And because I need to send it to them, they need to buy the tickets because we went with train. And, everybody was saying, well, this is too early, he's not ready, he has this, he has that. Yeah, okay, listen, the thing we do, everybody says no. And I just said, look, I want to fight, no worries. If we make a great fight, we want another chance.
Mm-hmm.
Just, and then with a good camp and a good preparation. But if we win, and we win in a good fight, we need a contract. And so they with Glory, they're always flexible. They always say, well, listen, okay, look, it's reasonable. So we start fighting, and he won the first fight. That was good, and then he won 3 fights in a row, and then he
lost again to.
He lost,
but it was so. He could have been.
But the same at the first fight. The first fight was also so, and he just took it, in a little bit in the points. I think after the last fight, after 3 rounds, it was an extra round, because after the first round we trained just to hold the hand high for the hook, and he was just not in the fight.
Yeah.
And he get an 8 count, and by then we bring him to the second round, and we said, okay, listen, we win the next 2 rounds, and then we got the extra round, and we get him in the extra round. And I thought we won the extra round, but we lost. Okay, these things happen.
Yeah, these things happen.
Yes.
But you said something very, very interesting. You said to Antonio, even if we lose and you do a good fight, you are attractive, you give everything that you have you leave everything that you have in the ring, then you will get another chance. And actually that was always your philosophy, the philosophy of Mike's gym. I was matchmaker for FFCs, we were bringing your fighters, and for K1, for Glory, for everything, and you always had the most attractive fighters. You always had the fighters who are willing to fight, who are aggressive, who are very courageous, who are always attractive, and the fighters who never want to win by points. They always want to knock out their opponents. So even if one of your fighters loses, that's not a problem. They will call you again. How did you develop this philosophy? It was it from the beginning, or you developed it during the years?
My first fighter, who was the biggest, it was a great success, was of course Yuri Mes.
Yes.
That's the logo.
Yes, yes.
Here, the logo, that's Yuri. And he was always a fighter. I said, look, I cannot change kickboxing. I'm not like I'm gonna reinvent kickboxing. If you think something like this, you're out of your mind. But you can add something to it. And by then, the normal standard of kickboxing was 1 punch, 1 kick, 1, 2, kick, 1, 2, hook, kick, check, kick. And then there comes Yuri. He comes with a punch combination of 12 punches. Then he gives you a low kick. He takes a breath and he gives another 8 punches and a knee. And then he comes with knee kick and then start fighting again. Okay. So that was something, a little bit extra, a little bit more than normal. And everybody said always, look, he's tired after 2-3 rounds. But in the 3rd round, he just got it looks like he opened the turbo in the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. So that was Yuri. Then there is also something else.
Sorry, Mike, a lot of guys came here. So yeah.
No problem.
Friends.
There's also some other thing, in my opinion, and that's, let's say, you used to manage some big shows here. Okay, now one guy, he's got 2 sons, or a daughter and a son. He says, listen, you know what we do? I buy 3 tickets. Okay, when you come inside the arena, you need to drive. So it takes you, beside the tickets, let's say the tickets cost 50 euros. It's 150 euros. Then you have 25 euros gasoline. It's 175. Then you come in, and then mother made some nice sandwiches, And then security says, hey, what's this? You take it and throw it away. So you need to buy some of these hamburgers or hot dogs, you know, like $3.50 a piece. You need a cola, one more drink, I don't know, maybe a beer. And so you are, the day is going to cost you, let's say, 220 euros. Okay. But you're making about, I don't know, 1,200 euros a month. So that means like 1/6 of the month or 1/5 of the month, you are working for that one single evening for having fun. And then say to yourself, here, look at this guy, look at this guy. And then they are out of bread after the first round. And they make 25,000 or 10,000 or 5,000. But they make more than we make. And they're out of bread in 3 minutes. That's not possible. You know, and there's also another philosophy of mine. It's nobody's buying a ticket and look at his friend and say, I hope we're going to see some nice clinching today.
Yeah,
nobody wants to see some clinching. You know,
Nobody.
Two old top men rubbing each other, but in a small short. No, man, we don't come for this. So I think, okay, either we fight, we have to sell the evening, or we don't. And if somebody says, well, listen, I don't want to fight, then maybe I'm not the best trainer for you.
Yeah, that was 2000. I read that you started 2002. Then in 2003 you opened your own gym, Mike's gym.
Well, I started before that.
Yeah, I know, but in 2003 you opened your gym, and actually these were the days. These were the famous days for K1. If you remember, Mark Hunt, Ray Sefo, Remy Bonjanski, Ernesto Hust, all these guys, Crow Cup and stuff like that. So was this some kind of motivation for you to go into kickboxing?
Of course.
Yeah.
In 26th of December 2003, I went to Japan for the first time with Alistair Overeem. And it was Inoki Bombaye at the night. You know, always the 31st of December is Dynamite. There was Dynamite, there was something from Pride, and we were at Inoki Bombaye. Well, if they told me, look, the first 5,000 kilometers you need to go by bike, I would say, okay, yeah, sure, why not? Because this was it for me. And
so it was so special.
It was special, of course. Sam Shield was fighting.
Yeah, Sammy.
Steve Velikog was fighting, a show wrestler. There were a lot of big names fighting that day. And I was there as well. I still got the t-shirts. Because there you get a t-shirt, you get the tracksuit, but it was way too big back in the day for me. But I don't care. I walked around it the whole week. I didn't care.
Was this the event that changed your life? You started thinking, okay, this is it for me. This is the thing that I want to do for the rest of my life. Because sometimes you have these days or events or things happening that just completely change your mind.
No, I always knew I could be.
You always knew?
I always knew I could be there.
Ah.
I always knew I could be there. I just need the right tools. That's it. And with the right tools, I mean a fighter who is open for my suggestions as a trainer, because a lot of times, you know, you say, okay, listen, you have to step this way or you have to do that way. And they say, oosh, and they think, no. And I remember when I was with, in 2003, I think, I was with...
Probably Melvin.
With Melvin here in Opatia.
In Opatia, yeah.
And he got arrested here.
Yeah, I remember he was in jail in Rijeka, right, for some time.
For a couple of months,
yeah.
4 months or something like that, 5 months. And then he came back, and then I said to him, I said, listen, if you do a bank robbery, and you have to go to jail for 2 years. But there is 1 million waiting for you. Would you do this? Yes or no? And he said, yes, I'll do this. I said, okay. Then we do it differently. Then we don't go to jail. We go to the gym for 1 year. And after 1 year, 1 million is waiting for you. And he said, and if not? Well, if you go to jail after bank robbery, you don't know what happened with your, with your money. So we go to the gym for 2 years and we see what's happening. So in 2004, Melvin started to fight for me. Yeah. And I was training with him since 2000. And in 2005, we became champion in cage rage. Yeah. And we did some spectacular fights against Cyborg.
Yeah, I remember.
And Ian Freeman, and I don't know.
But you did one more thing that was, from my point of view, it was genius. You brought something else, because Pride was already known by walkouts, by spectacular walkouts, by graphics, by all these video walls, but you brought something else. You brought this special relationship that you and Melvin had, and that you showed the world when you were walking out. You had him, actually, he was on the chain, right?
Yes.
And you were screaming at him, and
Always.
he was screaming back. Was this something that was taught before, or it was your way of handling him? What was going on there?
Look,
or a little bit of marketing also.
Okay, every fighter is different. Every fighter is different. So you have to approach everybody different. And I always say to Melvin, look, you came short in everything. He's too short. He had too much muscles. He's too stiff. And he's so explosive that after 2 or 3 explosions, he's tired.
Yeah.
So we're going to combine this and we're going to make it out. And once I was sitting, I said, look, you are the best, like you are a dog on a leash. Once I unleash you, it's from this movie, I unleash you, you just go crazy. And then we will see, And then he says, yeah, but everybody says I must be relaxed in the ring. I said, no, you don't have to be relaxed in the ring. You just stand there and they call it like, you got different kind of anchor. You got the pit bull anchor, this wah, 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 wah. I said, no. You have to be like a cobra. You stand still, and from there, you take it slow. And by doing nothing, just looking and just coming slowly forward, you build up the tension. And then, you're looking, you find, okay, not, you're looking, and all, paf, and then he bits you. And from there, you're toast.
Yeah.
So we came up with this idea, and he always wanted to, he's wearing this gladiator skirt. Yeah. I said, look, if you want to be a gladiator, show everybody that you're a gladiator. So we start training on his flaws and his, but also on his qualities. And it showed, but the same we did with Badr. The same we did with Björn Brecki, the same we did with Yuri Mes, the same we did with, Sander Tonhaus, with all these fighters who came to me. We tried to do this, and if you want to know what's triggering them, you need to start to build a relationship, of course.
Oh, yeah. I remember my favorite fight, when we talk about Melvin Manhoff, is his fight with Mark Hunt. Actually, he broke my heart because Mark Hunt was my favorite fighter with Croc Up, and then he knocked him out. He was the first guy who ever knocked out Mark Hunt, and nobody. Second, okay, but nobody thought it was possible because, like you said, he was so short and much smaller than Manhoff, who is 140 kilos, probably 30. Yeah. So I remember. Do you still remember that fight? It was crazy.
Of course.
What was the tactics?
Well, it's simple. First of all, we were sitting in the. Here it comes again. We were sitting in Japan, and Badr is fighting. He's fighting Alistair.
Yeah.
And but we just had this final against Remy Bialski, and they said, okay, you need to fight Alistair. If you fight, you get paid. If you don't fight, we don't pay you for the tournament. Things like this. And so we were forced to fight. But that's also, I always say, if the organization needs you, sometimes you just need to take one for the team.
Step up.
But he has too much injuries from this tournament because he was fighting semi-shield, he was fighting Peter. No, he was fighting, he was fighting Zimmerman, he was fighting Peter Arts, first Arts, then Zimmerman, and then Remy Bianchi.
Yeah.
And, but it took a lot out of him. And Melvin was with us, and then all of a sudden Simon Rutz called us and says, listen, is Melvin fit? I said, yes, he's fit. As long as he doesn't need to make weight, he's fit. And does he want to fight? And we were going out of the hotel and we were sitting at the Royal Host. And Melvin, he likes these chocolate pies. They have their, and we ordered 2 chocolate pies and some Diet Coke and I don't know what he drinks, pineapple juice. And we sit there and we had one. I was on the phone. I said, hey, do you want to fight? He says, when? I said, the day after tomorrow. He says, why? We are here now, so you can fight. You brought your shorts, don't you? Because I told them, always bring your shorts.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I said, yes, we fight. I said, he said, against who? I said, oh, against who? I said, you're here tomorrow. But then we were at the press conference and, in the weighings, and there's only one guy not there, and that's Mark Hunt. Oh, I called Simon. I said, hey, Simon, what's happening with Mark Hunt? No, you can fight Mark Hunt. But it's not sure. So I said, listen, Melvin, you can fight Mark Hunt. And he says, no, I'm not going to fight him.
Yeah, of course not.
And I said, why not? No. He's 130, 135 kilos. I'm not going to fight him. I said, okay, listen. We do it differently. Now we're standing in a bar. And this Mark Hunt comes and he grabs your wife, by the ass. What do you do? I said, I knock him out. I said, oh. Okay. So I get the phone, I called Simon. I said, we're going to fight. He said, you sure? Yes. Okay, I'll call you back in about 1 hour. I said, I told him you're going to fight. He says, why? Because I heard he grabbed your wife by the ass. And you said you're going to knock him out. So what are you waiting for? This is the nice opportunity. You can do the revenge and you can get money. That's simple. And by this, if you knock him out, you make yourself so famous, you wouldn't tell. And then he says, you think I can have him? Yeah, we go to the gym tomorrow. But they didn't, or we're going to go to the gym. But they didn't call, they didn't do nothing. And then I said, okay, we didn't hear anything. And then it was 12 o'clock. But in Dynamite, lobby call is like 11:15 or something in the morning. And it's 12 o'clock and we were sitting outside. I said, okay, you can have your, and we ordered 2 of these chocolate cakes again and we sit there and then, he wants to take a bite and the phone rings and I just answer the phone and Simon said, yes, the fight is on. And you get some extra if you knock him out. I said, okay, thank you. I said, this is for me? Because you need to go upstairs, you need to go to bed, you're fighting. Who am I fighting? I said, Mark Hunt. No, I don't want to. I said, yes, you said you're going to fight him, so go to sleep now. And he went upstairs, and he went to sleep. And the next day we had breakfast. And I said, yeah, I think you should eat something extra. Because, we're going to fight Mark Hunt today. And then after the fight, and the first fight was Badr against Alistair. And Alistair lost. Badr lost.
Yeah.
But they turned it also differently, It's like we were MMA haters, and so the crowd was against us, It's negative energy. But like I said, sometimes you need to do something you don't like.
When you trained guys like Melvin Mahov for MMA fights, or I remember that you even trained Dion Starring
Yes.
for a while. He was actually FFC champion, so he fought
I
a
know.
lot of times. Yeah, you know everything.
I know, I trained him for
you-
that fight.
Yeah, you know. So you had again Alistair over him. I remember. I think it was 2000, I don't know, 14, 15. You went to America, to Florida, to train with him with Brazilians.
Yes.
So when you have MMA fighters, you are primarily kickboxing trainer or coach, stand-up coach. Who does wrestling? Who does grappling? Who does the whole strategy? Or you do everything? I know that from 2019 you have some kind of partnership with even Hippolyte, right? When you two gyms are together in some kind of building or something.
No, let me first
Yeah, talk about MMA.
start with the MMA.
Yeah.
First of all, I trained Alistair, I think, 3 times. Because I know him from when he was 14 years old, 15. Something like this. 14, maybe 16. And they hire me as the stand-up coach. And I do the strategy. My thing is punching on the floor. That I know. A little bit escaping, not too much. I don't know any arm bars or submissions. I'm not very good at that, but I know how to lock. If something happens like that, I can put myself to that. To try to find a solution. And I know the strategy because I was there with Alistair. And he was fighting Hoppa Brown, and he did 25 punches like this. Like we did the hammer fist, because I had with Melvin a good technique on hammer fist when you got somebody on the floor, and I was shouting, hammering. Okay, he didn't do. After that fight, normally after 25 unanswered punches, the referee must step in.
Yeah.
But he didn't do, and Alistair cramped up. And he got knocked out. The next time he fight Frank Mir, he win on some of my punches, of the long right straight punch and the right uppercut from behind, long. Then he fight JDS, he win on hammering.
Did you enjoy training MMA fighters? Because I know a lot of kickboxing or boxing actually coaches that are not too fond of training MMA fighters, but if you see what's going on at the moment in MMA world, we always had good transitions from kickboxing to MMA. We had Hunt, Overeem, Crow Cup. They were all successful. But today, if you see the top of UFC, there are a lot of kickboxers there. Israel Adesanya, Giga Chikadze, now Cyril Gane. So more and more established fighter come to MMA. Now Alex Pereira came to UFC.
Yeah, but
they are actually taking over. What do you say about that?
No, it's a little bit different, I think.
Can you explain?
Yes, I will. Look, in the beginning there was the boxers were winning. Then there were the wrestlers. Then there were the Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys. And from the Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys or Japanese jiu-jitsu, that doesn't really matter, because there are a lot of good Japanese jiu-jitsu guys who were also very good. There was a new thing, and it's called the sprawl and brawl.
Yeah.
That was Vanilla Silva, Krokop, Melvin Manhoef. They were just good kickboxers with the takedown defense. That's it.
That's it, yeah.
That's it. And nowadays, everybody must be good in everything.
Yeah.
Because it's not that...
It's evolved, yeah, now.
Yes, because look, Melvin used to be a 3 in wrestling, but a 9 in kickboxing.
Yeah.
So we were dominating fights. Let's say 2007, we were fighting a Korean guy, Jong Dong Sik, I think, and we were rushing him through the whole, you know, or Fabio, not Fabio Silva, but what's the other guy's name from Brazilian top team? He was the top dog of Brazilian top team, and we just smashed him through the ring, or Akiyama. We just smashed him through the ring until we fell on the floor and we were not on top.
That was it.
And we couldn't escape because Melvin also, that's why he could escape and he could do this 3-4 times. And after that, I know they're going to get his arm and he gets tired. And when he gets tired, I said, look, once they got your arm, just step off. You don't want them to break your arm.
Yeah, it's your weapon.
Because afterwards, first of all, you cannot fight for I don't know how many months. And people don't want to see you wrestle. People pay money to see a ticket to see you bash somebody's head in.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we did with, I don't know, 500 other fighters, you know. What's his name? Sakuraba.
Yeah.
You know, what I said with Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt is also a kickboxer, and he's a good kickboxer, but he's just... if you see how children run, children have mostly, you know, they just throw their head and they put their body under it. That's the way he's fighting. And he's swimming because he is doing this. So once we start fighting back, we punch over the hand, that goes. And you come with this hand, and you pop, pop, and then, you know, it's like this. In 300, you see this big, I don't know, big animal running to you, and then he falls down on the floor. And the only thing you need to do is climb on top of him, give him 2 punches, and the referee says, stop this, he got enough.
But what do you think about today's, like I told you, I mentioned Israel Adesanya or Cyril Gane. Do you think that they are good kickboxers? And what do you think about their career in MMA? And if you compare it with some other guys like Krokap or Overeem?
Chika also trained with me.
Yeah.
When he came from Georgia, he came to Holland. He came to train with me. They're all good fighters. Also, Alex Pereira was dominating Glory,
Definitely.
84 and 95 kilo division. But
he even won against Israel, I think, 2 times, right, in Glory, or against Adesanya. I think
yes,
so, yeah.
well, at least one time.
Yeah, I think he knocked him out.
At least for the title one time. But they're gonna. But now you see, Israel Adesanya is fighting with, and they took him to the floor quite some times, and he escapes.
Yeah,
he's coming out. So that means he knows how to wrestle. Maybe he do it differently. That all the wrestlers turn to the right, and he turns to the left, and then to the right, and things like this. But they are doing very well.
Yeah, very, very well.
And it's also, but also the whole kickboxing, the whole MMA is evolving, you know. Lately you got so much good UFC shows, you know, from beginning to end, you know, there are only 1 or 2 fights you think of. But most of the time fights you're on the top of your, or the end of your seat, and that's good.
But are you sorry to see that kickboxers are going to MMA because of the money, because they cannot earn enough money, well, the money that belongs to them? If you see, I don't know, Gohan Saki or Adesanya or whoever, these are the guys who need to be millionaires if you see their quality and their place in kickboxing, but they don't, they are not. And then they change the sport and go to MMA, and then there they can earn a lot of money. What do you say about that? Are you sorry and sad because of this is happening? Because before K1 was actually bigger than Pride, then became Pride, and now UFC. So it seems that all the guys are going to MMA now at the end.
No, I think this is this is some kind of, I don't know. It's about. Look, let me tell you something. Before I told you, we have to be attractive.
Yes.
We need to fight. You know, okay. But that's one side of the story. The other side is you need to sell your fight.
Yes.
And if you look at Andesaya, he's selling his fight.
Yes. Now he's selling. Yeah.
No, not now he's selling. He's always selling. He was selling when we were fighting. I fought with him, against him with Yusri. In China, he was selling. He came there, Chinese clothes, start talking Chinese. You know, I don't know what he says. You know, for all of, he was saying, hey, look at these imbeciles. You know, or I don't know, they hate the Chinese. But he was selling fights. And a lot of kickboxers just don't. They don't sell their fights. They are afraid to say something because if you are go to a press conference and they ask, okay, what do you think about tomorrow? And then they look at you and they say, okay, I've trained very hard for this camp, and tomorrow my fist will do the talking. I have much of respect for my opponent, and I hope we leave the ring safely. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
What
you
the
are
fuck?
right.
What the fuck? You know this, and then everybody says, okay, now it's coming. You know, or they have a very intense stare down, and they are and then, you know, and then they say, okay, look, face forward, and then they give each other a hand. You know, and they hold each other. I love you, man. I love you. Fuck that, man. What is that? That's nothing. Look, you have to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to bash your head in. And if you don't like it, I'm still going to do it. And if your trainer doesn't like it, I attack him as well. After I finish with you, I'll go for him. And the other guy says, oh, no, you need to build, here, this one. Fake fighting. They're selling every week, 3-4 times a week. They sell between 2,500 and 12,000 tickets.
Yeah, I was doing it.
Every show.
WWE. Yeah.
Every show. They have a network. They have the biggest. How do you say, pay-per-views and everything. Nobody can touch them. You know, they got a channel for $9.95, and they got millions of people paying $9.95 watching this every week. But not this only. They have on the show 75% is wearing a t-shirt or a mask or a helmet or whatever. You know, you have to, and that was good in the K1 time, you have to create diversity.
Yeah.
Because we got this tall guy from Korea. He's, I don't know, 2 meters, 17 centimeters.
Hongman
Choi. Oh, you want to fight them? Okay, look, I was there with Badr. He was also 197 or 198, but against it's a little bit of different.
Yeah.
I said we fight him, and when we were there at the stare down, you know, he was there with his hands behind his back, you know, breathing up to him, and then this Hongman Choi, I don't know if he knows that we just came there to fight, and he was looking at us and said, I don't gonna give this guy a hand. And we walk away. And we said, okay, now we're selling it. Or there was a semi-shield, you know, 2 meters 11. Hard to get, but we did it. You know, and that's what makes it. But you need to sell this fight.
So you think that today's kickboxing is maybe leaking show business? It has sports side of the story, but show business is missing.
It's not about show business.
It's about better promoting fights.
No, it's about identification
of individual fighters.
Look, in the WWE came this Mexican guy, and his motto was lie, cheat, and steal. So, you know, he lied like, oh, I'm hurt, and then grab this guy and then submit him. And he steals this and he cheats this. And there were a lot of Mexican immigrants coming to America.
Ah, okay.
And all the things, I want to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got this young American hip-hop kind of guys, and it was John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena.
And, you know, and
yeah,
that,
people again identified with him, with his image.
yes, you know, so, and you also, but we also got this in Holland, you know, like, now we, you know, we have this Badr army, like this, these Moroccan guys, you know, they're very proud of him, and, you know, they want to be like him, they want to be with him, they want to support him, you know, and now also like you know, Antonio here in the Balkan, he's coming up, you know, because he's delivering, and he's not average, because he knocked down Benny, and this is a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And by doing this, you are allowed to sit on your knees in the middle of the ring and scream it out, you know, and jump in the ropes and say, see, this is what I do for my Croatian people. And then, I don't know, there were something like 50 Croatian guys there. They were all backed up together and with flags and screaming and shouting, you know, and then he's getting interviewed, and he's allowed, because you made an accomplishment like that, to spill his mind. Like, look, am I still not rated in your mind? Am I still not worthy your attention? Yes, I am. And you can scream it and shout it. And then when he's finished and this guy from the doping authority was walking behind him, no, you need to pee. No, first I need to go to the 50 people who paid more than 100 euros for a ticket.
Yeah.
You know, and we sit there and everybody, and yeah, I have to go away because I had other fighters also. Because once he's winning, he doesn't need me. That's simple.
Yeah.
Fighters who win it doesn't need the coach. Fighters who lose it need the coaches. That's simple.
That's always like that, and that's sad, but it's
So
true.
that's one, and then I come back to Vos Gym, Hippolyte. It's simple. I've heard Vos Gym, they lost their place, and they didn't got. And I think Ivan Hippolyte, he used to be, when I was, you know, starting kickboxing, he was one of the idols, simple. He was the first guy who has this Halloween teeth, mouthpiece, and kick, And then, if people like that don't have a place to practice, then I offer them a place.
Wow.
And I said, listen, you come to me, they pay the normal money, this is your part, this is my part, because they also take a shower, and it's at the end of the day, it's also business, and once you find your own place, or once you want to leave, you're free to go. That's what the whole thing was, and the only thing we did together was sparring on a Wednesday evening. And for the rest, he was there, we were there.
Ah, okay.
That's it, you know.
I met him like maybe 10 years ago, even more, when he was actually training Krok Up here in Zagreb. He was actually living here for a while. He came here for some camps, and then he left, came again, so he was actually Krok Up's trainer for a while, and now he's main coach in UFD gym.
Yes.
in Düsseldorf, so I also see him there when I went him there for a couple of times. You mentioned Badr Hari a couple of times. He's definitely the biggest kickboxing star, I would say, ever. Even when he was not fighting, when he had some legal problems, he was in jail, he was still bigger star than everybody who was fighting, and even the champion. You're not working together anymore. No. Was it something that you expected, or how did this happen?
No, first of all, Badr is also one of the first guys who actually listens to me. when I start to explain about, when we first started working together, I started to explain about fighting. And, we did well together for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
Before this, we also split up for 2 or 3 months, came back together again. And then we tried it again, but, it was a little bit over, and he said, if I want to do something, I have to be somewhere else in a new environment. Look, so we don't need to argue about this. There's nothing. We had 15 beautiful years together, and we traveled the world together. We've been, I don't know, if you add everything up, we've been 2 years, maybe 3 years together of our lives, in hotel, there,
Yeah.
all over the world. So we had a good thing, and I always say, Yuri Mes made me well known by the big audience, but it made me famous.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. On the other hand, he knows how to sell a fight, and that's why everybody knows him.
Yeah, he is definitely a special guy. I met him here in Zagreb,
Yeah.
K1. That was a big conspiracy theory after everything went the way it went. I remember I was the guy who was actually coordinating the whole event, and after each fight, my task was to go to the locker room and to ask the fighter if he is okay and if he can go on with the tournament. And I went to the locker room, and everybody said in your locker room, yeah, he's fine, everything is fine. He beats Sabit Zamedov, as I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, and like maybe 20 minutes passed, and one of my colleagues came to me. I was sitting ringside, and he told me, listen, we have a problem. Badr has big swelling on his, I don't know, it was right or left foot, and it was big as a tennis ball. I said, man, it's not possible. I was there 20 minutes ago, everything was fine. He even told me that he's feeling great. I went to the locker room, and actually it was true. He had like this big swelling here, and then everybody said it was fixed, it's fraud, he was not injured, but it was. You can collaborate that.
Look, the thing was like this. First of all, he was just like 4.5 weeks out of jail.
Yeah, I remember. And people were afraid that he will come too skinny, too light, because he lost a lot of muscles in jail, I remember.
Yeah, but we were okay. He was fighting, first round was good, second round was okay, third round I said, look, we are in a tournament, we don't need to go for the knockout, so just take it a little bit off, and we are, and he did, he won this fight. Then he came, he says, I feel something in my foot pumping. That's okay. What do you want me to do? If I take it off, it will swell. And you come to the locker room, and he said, hey, are you okay? Yeah, sure, why not? We always act tough. We never say if something is wrong. And even in the last fight with Jamal versus Rico, Jamal had a big cut in his chin, and they asked, hey, where's the blood coming from? I said, it's from Rico, man. What do you do here? Go away. And then Jamal asked me, hey, Mike, what's happening? I said, I think your toenail is off. Do you feel your toes? Look at me, feel your toes. No, I don't feel anything. Don't look down, just fight.
So you're like that. You're crazy.
Yeah, so you came in the locker room and I said, are you okay? Yeah, of course, why would we be okay? Stupid question. And then by then, he got it on, and then he said, I really feel it, Mike. I said, okay. Yeah, I want to fight. I said, okay. Stand. Throw a punch. And then I just moved away from him. We had a thing, you need to follow me, and then moved away from me, and then he stepped on me. I said, okay, and then we cannot fight. Then we took it off, and it swelled off. It started here, and then from here his whole foot went big.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I said, okay, listen. He said, no, I want to fight. I said, how are you going to fight? I don't think people want to see you step in the ring, try to throw 2 punches, and said, I cannot fight anymore. Simple.
Yeah, that's the whole story. I can tell 2 particular things, 2 little stories from that time. First of all, he was the only one, he was the smartest one who got paid, because he said he's not leaving his hotel room without the money being transferred on his account, because maybe he was so smart and clever that he knew that he was not going to pay.
He never did. He always wanted to pay the front.
Yeah, and he was the only one. After that, that Krokop got left without $1 million, and all the other
Evening
guys.
K1.
Yeah, nobody got money besides Badr Hari. That was the first thing, so he was very smart actually. I remember it was panic because he wouldn't leave his room, hotel room. He said, no, money is not on my account, I'm not leaving my room. Then they managed somehow to transfer the money. That was the first story. And second one, yeah, he stole the show from everybody else, because press conference was supposed to be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was actually upstairs in the hotel taking a bath and cleaning himself, and he had a nice suit, so everybody was waiting for him for actually 50 minutes, and Krokop and the rest of the guys were nervous, of course, but he came down and took all the press actually. And the third little story, him and Krokop, the only 2 guys that had separate locker rooms in the arena. So they had like the biggest locker rooms, all for themselves. And the other guys were, I don't know, 3 or 4 in one locker room. And I remember Badr called me and said, please come to the locker room, I need you. And I said, okay, what do you need? He said, listen, I need a personal favor. I said, what do you need? He said, like, this is big. I said, what? Well, we already had 5 credentials, 5. That's the maximum, because the other guys got 3, I think. He got 5. And he said, but please, I would like my wife and my kids to be here before the fight. Can you please do this favor for me? And I did it, and he'll really appreciate it. So I knew him briefly, but I can say that he's very intelligent, I would say. Very, very intelligent, very smart.
Yeah. And it's also renewing.
Yeah.
It's not that everybody should be late, because then it's going to be...
Yeah, cliche.
Yeah, and different. But, on every press conference there was something. And people come to me, because that's why. You never could find me, because he says, oh yeah. In the beginning I was downstairs waiting, and then people come to me, hey Mike, hey Mike. And then I got nervous. And then he says, I said, Badr, we need to be downstairs at 1 o'clock. He said, yeah. I said, I'll come pick you up 12:45. And he said, yes, okay. And then 12:45, I'm there. And he says, what are you doing? I said, no, I wait for you. I walk with you, just to be sure. And then, do you want me to go downstairs now? I said, no, I want you to go downstairs whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
So I don't have got all this headache and assholes and things. It's also, these things also made me much smarter. That's what we always say. We are learning from each other. But okay, that was then. Now it's now.
Maybe you don't believe in luck, but I think he was a little bit unlucky since he returned 2016-17. I think he was a little bit unlucky. 3 injuries, then this last knockout when he was dominating the fight, then this no contest. So altogether, a little bit unlucky. I know that you have to push your luck always, but I would say he was a little bit unlucky. That things could have gone differently.
Yes, it could. It could, but it didn't, unfortunately. And because if we won the first 2 Rico fights,
Yeah.
you know,
It's all different, yeah.
I think we would still be together. Yeah.
Yeah.
These things happened in the first Rico fight. We rocked Rico in the middle of the ring. You know, so second fight we dropped him 2 times.
Yeah. And again, injury.
And then injury. Yeah.
And K1 injury. Yeah, he had a lot of injuries. Maybe
Yes.
unlucky injuries. Yeah, that's...
Yes, yes. But he also did a lot of fights.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I want to talk to you a little bit, 2 or 3 sentences about Sergey Laschenko, because he was actually one of my favorite fighters from that era. When K1 World Grand Prix was announced, he was betting favor because he won Super Combat the year before or something like that. So he was actually betting favor. I was surprised. At the end, he got this pair fight with Jared Poturak. He lost, but he was again fighting for FFC for a few times, I think.
Huh? No.
He wasn't?
He knocked out Poturak.
No,
He knocked him out with the knee to the body.
Are you sure?
I'm 100,000% sure. I was in the corner.
I think he won by decision, Poturak.
No.
Rezervna borba. Okay, nevertheless.
Look, it's simple.
Sergey lost his life in 2015 in Odessa, in Ukraine. He was your fighter.
Yeah.
And he was really cool. Like I said, I liked him. He was technical. He knew how to take a punch. He was always in a good mood. So I was very sorry that happened.
Yeah, me too. He came to me together with Artur Kishenko, Donato Simonitis from King of King Fights.
Yeah, from Lithuania, yeah.
He said, listen, do you want to train Artur Kishenko? And you know, I started training with Artur, and Artur was happy about it. He said, I got a friend. His name is Sergey Laschenko. Can he come too? I said, okay, we can try. So now I got, Artur is trying, because look, in the beginning, Artur, he didn't speak English. He just speak Russian or the Ukrainian. Well, my Russian is a little bit rusty. And, you know, so we tried to manage, and then all of a sudden, you know, he came and he was like 126 and 128 kilos. And I said, okay, he can come, but you have to be serious. You know, and he came. But he was serious, and he did everything the other guys did, like Artur, Myrtle, but they were fighting 70 kilos, and he's heavyweight. So all of a sudden they were running on 25 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
3 minutes. There were only 3 people who did it. Artur, Myrtle, and Sergey Laschenko. The rest didn't make it. So he was good. He had a very hard punch, and
Yeah.
I think he was with me for 3.5 years. I think this 3.5 years, I took everything out of him, what he could be. We won this Super Combat tournament by knocking out Ismail Lond in the finals.
I remember.
We also knocked out Poturak.
Okay, if you say so.
I know so because I was there.
Yeah.
You can look.
Let me check.
Check.
Maybe I was wrong because I had so
No.
much. Yeah, maybe you're right. Sorry, Mike. I don't want to say
No, don't be.
Sergey.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, sorry.
Sergey Laschenko, I love him.
Yeah.
Wikipedia. Kickboxing record. Okay.
He knocked out Poturak before Lond.
Yeah, we were talking about different things. Yeah, he knocked out Poturak in Super Combat, but like I said, he lost to Poturak on K1 Grand Prix spare fight, reserve fight. So yeah, I was thinking about that.
No,
yeah.
but then.
But you are right, yeah.
And then we were coming, and then we go in a K1 bro, we had 4 fighters. Artur Kishenko, Myrtle Groenat, Badr Hari, and Sergey Laschenko on one evening. And we all won. Artur won from a Chinese guy by knockout, I think 2nd round. Myrtle won Grigorian in the 3rd round by knockout. Badr won Anderson Silva on points, but gave him 8 count. And Sergey Laschenko won Rico Verhoeven by extra round. But after 3 rounds, he already won. It was a great evening, and I think this was one of his best fights. He was a very funny guy.
Yeah. Always in a good mood. Always.
Yes, he was.
He was never, when fighters come to FFC and they are tired from spent on being in car or playing whatever, he was always in a good mood. Always. He was never, demanding. So I loved him, and I was very sorry that he died.
I know. One time he win a tournament, step in his car, drive 1,000 kilometers, step on a plane, full injuries, lands in Japan. In the morning, in the afternoon was a tournament, came into the finals against Daniel Giza. Lost. So he won 5 fights in about 24 hours.
Crazy guy.
24 hours, maybe 30 hours. Won 5 fights. And then was apologizing to the Natas because of losing the finals of Gita. But he ate so much low kicks on the other tournament.
Yeah, he couldn't stand.
And Gita, his primal thing was low kicks.
Yeah.
And on that evening, we were with Melvin, winning of Ramazanov by knockout. But we couldn't continue because of a cut in his chin. It's a good evening.
Good evening. We'll talk a little bit about Antonio, of course. He will join us in few seconds. You started working together a few years ago.
Yes.
The story is well known. Your friend, Miro Kukanjac, he knew you from past times when he was training at your gym. He saw Antonio at some smaller event in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And actually, I think I read in his interview that he called you. He said he has a great guy, and if you can train him, see him and train him. So can you please tell this story, because you are actually fighting at few events together when you were at FFC and he was in FFC, but he was then fighting 95 kilos. He was not very well known at the moment.
I know. Miro always, we always used to make jokes together about, he says always, listen, I got one Croatian motherfucker for you. He's strong. He wipes out everybody. And I said,
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And then this goes on for, I don't know, a couple of years. And all of a sudden he sent me a mail. Can I call you? I got a fighter for you. I said, this is the same joke, but now by mail,
Yeah, it's serious now.
And then he says, no, I want to talk to you. And he came, and I said, I got this guy, Antonio Plazibat. And by then, Antonio won a tournament in Japan. I've read it, I've heard the name. I didn't know who it was. Some people, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So he came and I said, okay. I said, listen, this is what we can do. Before we do something stupid, we're going to try it for 1 month. In 1 month, if nothing happens, he has to go. If he doesn't like it, he can go back to his own trainer. He doesn't need to tell his trainer, because otherwise, he leaves his trainer, he comes to me, and
it looks bad, yeah.
And he doesn't like my jokes, or he doesn't like my training system, style, or he doesn't like anything. And So we try, and then Antonio came in, and he is now he's well spoken these days, but before he was a bit quiet. So he came in on a Thursday, and he said, "Well, I said, go change because today's sparring." He says, "Why?" So that's a good way to see.
Yeah.
He says, "No,
No.
I'm tired of traveling." I said, "Traveling? It's 2 hours to Zagreb, man. What are you doing?" And then I said to Mira, I said, "Miro,
Who is this?
what's this, man?" I said, no. And then we start training the next day. And yeah, there is something I saw in him. I thought some things can be different. I tried to explain to him. And it's not that he is hard-headed, you know, but some things are, you know, it's hard to learn some new tricks if somebody believes in something. And I don't know his old trainer or where he trained or who this is, because maybe he can sit over there. I wouldn't know him. And I thought, listen, this will work if you start believing in me. All of a sudden you start to punch harder, faster, harder, faster. And it's getting better. Then I teamed him up with Badr. It's also good. It was a hard time for him because every day, you know, we need to listen, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But he stayed the course. And then from there on, you know, I start to, and then the fight, or before this, the fight came, you know, like I told you in the beginning, and then he was, then he didn't know what he had to do because I think he went home, he said all the 100 words, and then he was out of words for 1 week because he didn't say anything. There he was just walking with the bag and holding it like this, and you know, and then we went for an interview, and they said, "Can he speak?" I said, "Yes, he can, but you know, it's a little bit different, you know, but it's going to be okay." And all of a sudden, also, and I came to Split for a holiday to train with him, you know, and then I start to get to know him a little bit better, and he gets to know me better. Also then I also understand, because we were training and some people telling us what we were doing wrong, of course. And, you know, I always said, okay, no problem, it's good. And after a while, or after the Tariq Kababis fight, he came to me and says, "Now I understand what you mean all the time." And by this, I know, okay, now we are a couple of steps in the right direction.
The same mindset.
Yes, because, you know, sometimes, you know, I say something and then he looked at me and, okay. And now he knows, you know, sometimes I mean it, and that's also the same thing, you know, when Scott from Glory called and asked me if Jamal can fight Rico and Antonio can fight Benny. There was nothing in my mind that says, no, we cannot win this fight.
I was actually worried, and I told him that, because he was actually, he was supposed to fight James McSweeney. I know him from FFC, he was fighting there, and I knew that Antonio will kill him in 1 round. And yeah. I sent him a message, and he told me, please do not say this publicly, but I'm fighting Adekbuy. I said, ooh, fuck. Maybe this is going to be difficult, but at the end, he proved me wrong.
No, he proved everybody wrong, because I think this is also a little bit Croatian. Because last time we were fighting Tariq Kababis, and there were people that call themselves friend and then say, well, you fight this Kababis, but you're not going to win this guy. This guy is this guy is that. said, well, you don't know what we're doing. You know, you don't know how he trained. You know, you don't know how hungry he is. You know, so that you can be a little bit more positive about this. And why not?
Yeah.
And it's also, he developed a lot, you know, he's also selling his fight.
Yeah, he's very good at that. He became, I don't know how aware you are, but he is huge star in Croatia and on Balkans, YouTube star. He knows how to sell fights, he knows how to sell himself, he has this marketing mindset, and I like it very much.
Oh, now you see it, and when all of these things come together, you find yourself a new star.
Yeah.
And it's only a matter of time when this new star becomes a superstar.
Yeah.
I hope, and I think, you know, and everybody can say, well, Mike, you, but why not?
Are you satisfied with his progress? Because it seems that he's actually getting better and better, and he's getting bigger and bigger. Was this also a plan, or it was something spontaneous?
Well...
because he's now 133 kilos.
Yeah.
When I saw him today, I couldn't believe he's huge, man. He's like a fucking giant now.
Look, he was fighting, and then also Noradin, and then he was, I don't know, 108 kilos.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
And the other guys are 115. And he says, I'm just lacking of power. I need more muscles and I need more body behind it. So then you need to work harder, simple. So he went back and he found himself fitness coach, Annie, small guy, with a beard.
Small guy with a beard.
Yes. And, you know, they're working together, and this is also the same thing what I do with MMA. Look, if the wrestling coach is telling you what to do, that's their part, you know, and he's working with him like today. I'm just sitting there, looking, you know, sometimes checking the WhatsApp, and sometimes, I don't know what, just cracking some jokes. That's it. And but you know, and I'm waiting for my time, and then when my time is there, you know, we train, and then I want to have like 100% of his attention.
Is he ready for Rico? Because I saw an interview with his manager, and it was maybe a few months ago. It was published a few months ago, and he said he will be ready in 1 year or 1.5 years. But it seems now that he won so impressively against Adegbuy that the doors are open. Is this the next fight, and what do you say about it? Well, you had a lot of your guys fighting Rico, a lot of your guys, Badr, Jamal. Nobody succeeded. Jamal was close. Actually, Badr was close, very, very close 2 times, and now you have one more chance with Antonio. What do you say about that?
Yeah, well, I think, well, first of all, Rico is doing very well, of course.
Yeah.
We cannot say he isn't. And he's fighting anybody and winning everybody.
Yeah.
Except Laschenko.
Yeah.
And I think we have a way to crack his code. I think we already did.
Yeah, you already have, but you didn't. You ran out of luck. Yeah.
Yes, you know, you have to see it just like now with the Formula One. You know, he's got a better engine. That's it. Not the better drivers. We are the better drivers, much better drivers. We are the better fighters, much better. But he's doing well, you know. He's also 3 times on the floor and gets himself up and
wins. Yeah.
And wins. So that's that's my head off to him. But that was then. The next fight of him should be against Alistair, I think.
Yeah, that's.
And I hope they line up Antonio as well. We are certainly talking about it against another fighter. It doesn't really matter what kind of fighter it is, I think. And after that, and if we win, then we should be in line.
Mm-hmm.
That would be not more than normal, I think. And with a little bit of hope, luck, and support from the Balkan.
It will happen.
Yes, why not?
Yeah, why not? Is it true that when Rico was 15 years old that you wanted to sign him, and that you
Yes.
saw potential in him and said, okay, this guy will be star, but he chose another coach. Is this true?
Yes, we are with Simon Rutz. We
Yeah.
did Showtime.
Ah.
And we signed good fighters. And all of a sudden he was 15 and he was as big as he is now. Only less muscles, and a lot of combinational talent. And I said, listen, we need to sign this guy. And then I said to Simon Rutz, and then, and he said, do you want to train with him? I said, yes, of course. And then he signed for Dennis Crowell. Well, he ended up being right at the end. So I don't know if I could do better. But he was good back then, and he still is.
Yeah.
The only thing is, the only different thing is, we want to be better, and we always want to win in a fashionable way sometimes.
He's more tactical. You are more like you have approach that is also attractive and efficient. He's
Yes.
tactical.
Yeah, something
But
like
I think he couldn't be more attractive because he has these kind of qualities that he needs to use just like this that he's doing. Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one way to- okay. One more question because before Antonio joins us. Can you make some? Can you compare K1 from 2000 to 2010 and now, like champions like Remy, like Ernesto, like Semi, like Hunt, like Andy, like Rokap, and today's guys like Rico Verhoeven, Bader. Bader was there and he is now.
Yeah.
Can you compare these two eras?
Wow. Why would you?
I don't know. It's interesting always. Now, what do you think? How would Rico fight with these guys that I mentioned? Would he be better than them, or I don't know? It's always interesting subject, to compare two eras.
Nah. I think this is apples and oranges. Look, if we had the knowledge of the training we do today, if I had this like in 2003, we would dominate there.
Okay.
Simple. And also, if they had the knowledge we have today, they would also be different.
Better, yeah.
No, different, because sometimes you have this and this is all you have. And because the other one also have this one, you can come out on top. Look, for instance, you have the good fighter like Klauber Feitosa. Mm-hmm. Okay, he didn't stand a chance against Bader. Why? Because we had a different technique, tactic. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. So it's also, if you look at soccer now and you look soccer 20 years ago,
yeah.
If you look, it looks like they are, if you said, hey, somebody is playing with slow motion, with the slow motion app. What are you doing? So, and the good players from there could not stand today, and also not the other way around. So that's it.
Thank you, Mike, for this first part. Thank you. It's been a pleasure and honor to have you. I hope that you enjoyed it also. Antonio, come here, boy.
I wanted to go for the record, but they don't want to. Okay. And I just go. It's good. It's okay. It's okay. So, you forget one fighter of me, huh?
Yeah. Who? Sorry.
Who? It's going to be the new Croatian superstar.
Teo
Mikelic.
Teo Mikelic.
He was also fighting in
I
Zagreb.
know, he knocked down Myrtle.
Yes.
I remember, man. And then he lost because of the cut. Remember? I remember everything. And you remember Maria Malenica?
Yeah.
I think this weekend she has another second boxing professional fight. He turned professional boxing. She's actually doing good. She almost made it to the Olympics in boxing. She's very persistent and a very nice girl. She was also here as a guest. So yeah, Teo Mikelic. Yeah, Teo Mikelic, good guy.
He's fighting December 19.
Yeah, he fought last weekend or something like that. Yeah.
Winning knockout.
Plaza, dobrodošao u Podcast Inkubator.
Debeli Plaza.
Šta ima Plaza, prijatelju? Hvala ti što si nam doveo Majka, prije svega.
Ništa, drago mi je.
To smo se ti i ja dogovarali već prije 100 godina. U biti, čak i tvoja ideja bila, čini mi se, i rekao si, gle, to je bilo top. Ja sam rekao odmah da, pa te čovjek je čudo od čovjeka. I evo, čak i zanimljiva priča o tebi. Malo to nekako izgledalo kao da je to će malo zajebavac spustiti, na kraju je vidjelo se koliko mu je stalo do tebi, koliko ste se zbližili. Stvarno si mu...
Pa je, možda ljudi ne znaju, ali ja sam inače malo sramežljiv, sad malo manje, pošto ono jebi ga,
ne možeš ni biti.
Donekle sam poznat, ono ljudi prilaze cijelo vrijeme pa sam se navikao i ono znam kako se ponašat prije. Kad bi neko došao, ja bi ono, koji kurac. Malo i ne volim inače biti, onako me staviš u novu prostoriju sa ljudima gdje ja ne znam nikoga, neće ja biti neki glasni što će skakati, što će se ti to ono isticat, nego ono stane tu, nađe nekoga priča i to je to. Sad je to malo drugačije, ali ono, inače takav sam, nisam nešto preglasan, dok tipa brat je drugačiji, ono tu sam ono različit. Ali sada ono, jebi ga, sad ne mogu biti neopušten, navikao sam ispred kamere radi YouTube kanale i svega sam je to normalno, više mi je nigdje neugodno. A i ono, i ispred Gloryjevih kamera sam navikao, ono sam je, zapravo i taj YouTube mi je pomogao da se opustim ispred Gloryjevih kamera, da počnem pričati engleski normalno, to jest ne normalno, nego me se, ono, jeba me se kako zvučim, samo ga pričam, sviđalo se, tebe ne sviđalo. A ono, prvi intervju što sam davao na engleski je bilo ono kod debil, ono, yes, I am going to win, and it's, I onda, to što kaže da sam bija sramežljiv nije da išta laže, ima samo torbicu oko vrata, ovatavi ruke, stavi ja i gleda ono šta ću sada kužiš.
Ali jel vjeruješ da te se ja tako sjećam iz FFC-a? S tom torbicom uvijek.
Isto je, da, isto.
I mršav si bio ono uvijek.
Da, ko gušter.
I bio si isisan ono do krajnjih granice kad bi došao tamo jer bi spuštao na 9.5 i ono, uvijek taj ruksak, uvijek si šutio, uvijek si bio, nikad nisi imao nikakve zahtjeva. I ti i Čikotić, zato samo si volio.
Sve je bilo uvijek dobro. Meni u glavi, a i Čiki je bilo ono, tu smo, dobili smo priliku, treba se dokazati, ono, u konačnici jednostavno, ako ćeš uspjeti bilo kojem sportu, ono, pobjeđuju, ono, svijet voli pobjednike i
sjećaš se ti onog FFC Futuresa, tamo si u biti zablisto prvi put i rasturio si ljude, praktički si imao nekoliko nokauta za redom. Ali da se ne vraćamo u prošlost, Mike je puno toga rekao o svemu. Kratko o zadnjoj borbi, pošto nisi bio tu od tada i evo, on kaže ako dobiš još jednu, on misli da si spreman za Rika.
Pa, napokon, ja nakon 3 godine mogu napokon početi reći da počinjem razumjeti ono što Mike govori kako da se borim. I sve te neke sitnice, ali jako bitne stvari koje su u borbi, gdje ja znam da sam ja, znači, od samog, da ne ulazim sa u to, ali napokon razumijem tu politiku i razumijem i zašto je i Badr bija dobar. I, mislim, i meni i svima ostalima vjerojatno to izgleda kao ono, čovjek uđe, potuče se i bolje ka. Samo što to ne možeš biti, to ne ide tako. Da je tako lagano, to bi bilo ko napravo, ako je malo eksplozivan i bija prvak, samo nije sve u tome. I onda te male sitnice koje radimo i način borbe i taktike i ok, priprema je priprema, moraš biti fizički spreman, ali te male sitnice napokon to sida sve namjesto. I osim toga, ja kao uđem u Gloryjev ring, sve manje i manje mi ono kao ajme meni idem se, kao u denurinu.
Znači osjećaš se sve više kod doma?
Osjećam se ono za lud, ono, bude nabrijan, bude spreman, a nije nešto sada da mi ono neka, ono ne panika, nego da se mislim šta ću, kako ću, nego ono sad ću pokazati se najbolje na svjetlu šta mogu. A i ono sam sa svojom u glavi sazrija sam i sve tako, nije još sve sleglo kako triba, mislim da nije još to kako triba, ali ono ide u tom smjeru. I drago mi je ono što, eto, ja znam da još mogu pokazati i napredovat, a da ono praktički lako prolazim kroz sve protivnike. To je najbolje od svega.
A je li ovo protiv Adegbuja bilo onako nekako blizu toga što ti zapravo želiš, jer je izgledalo je stvarno odlično. Mislim da ti je to najzreliji nastup kad ga ja pogledam, kada si ga prebio.
Da, jesam, ali napravio sam tu još puno grešaka koje ja znam, koje Mike zna, koje Volter zna, koje napravio sam puno grešaka, triba sam malo... Svjestan sam svega što sam falja, ne može me niko reći sad ja si ovaj spor. Svjestan sam svega sam i ima tu još stvari koje se treba popraviti, ali sad samo iz te borbe sa debujem sam naučio ono 5 novih stvari na koje moram pripaziti u budućnosti. Ako se desi opet situacija ista, neće se tako desiti jer realno Adegbuja da sam bio malo pametniji, završio bi ga u prvoj rundu da nije bilo konopa, pada bi okolo, ali svakako i dok je na konopu završio bi ga puno lakše i puno pametnije nego da samo lupam po njemu ko manit. I onda, ono, zadovoljan sam, ali nisam još ono, niti blizu 100% zadovoljan. Postoji tu još puno stvari koje ću pokazati, učiniti, napraviti, ali ono, to je bila taktika. Nakon prve runde Mike je samo rekao ono, lazy jab. On je bacio prvi lazy jab i...
Odmah da presjeko si ga.
Mislim, nije lazy, ali on ide na mišta kao... I to je to, prvi udarac koji je bacio, ono...
Si ga presjekao i odmah završio.
Dočekao sam ga, da je bacio bilo šta drugo, možda ga ne bi dočekao, ali ono, bio sam spreman i na livu ili na desnu, ono, šta god. A što se tiče onih low kickova što on udara po meni, to nisu bolili, osjetio sam ih, nisu bolili, baca ih ono više da budu brži nego da budu jači, da ih je udario još 15 puta, normalno bolilo bi, ali razlog zašto nisam skoncentriran na blokiranje toga, očekivao sam high kick ko što je bacio protiv Džafara, da će mi ići prodati to. Jer stavim se u perspektivu šta bi ja napravio da sam moj protivnik, gdje ja vidim svoje greške i mislio sam da mi je to jedna od grešaka šta bi on mogao ići iskoristiti. I bio sam spreman za to. I onda kad sam ja da neće bacati high kick, blokirao sam low kick i praktički više nije bacim.
I to je bilo to,
osjetio sam da je sila blokada, ono, hvala, doviđenja i sad samo na ruke imamo.
Kako nosiš kile? Kad si ušao ovdje u prostoriju, stvarno nisam mogao vjerovati koliki si. Čuli smo se nedavno telefonom i pitam te šta radiš ili nemam pojma kako je išao razgovor, ti kažeš jedem, brate, samo jedem. I sve ovo što smo se čuli u 5 puta, u zadnjih dana cijelo vrijeme žvačiš nešto.
Da.
Šta se događa? I čini se da ih dobro nosiš i on je rekao da ih dobro nosiš i vidjelo se to u borbi, ali ovo je sad već još više.
A sad je, mislim, ja se dobro osjećam, nisam sada da ću ostati na 130 koje kilo u meću, ne vjerujem. Pašće kili, ali trenutno se uopće ne zamara nešto puno s kilažom, samo treniram, jedem, treniram. Sad smo ono malo više, nisam se sad ubija kondicijski ili nešto previše traja, ali svejedno napravim ja dobrih 10-15 rundi kickboksa čistoga, da ono, bez problema, znači to napravim jako, ali bez ono da se koljem, da bude sve eksplozivno, ali da nije ono sad da se ubijam. I ne trčim, jer da ja mislim da trčim da bi sjebao kukove i kola nakon 3 puta. Jedina razlika je što se sad bojim pas napad, jer ja mislim ako padne napad da ću umriti instant, da se neće moći dignut.
Da će ring otići dolje, a?
Znači, to mi je straj najveći trenutno. A kile, ono, mislim, realno pretjerujem, jer sam ono ko trenutno dito u vrtiću i ono, hvala Bogu, Miro ima restoran u Trogiru, tako da mogu jest tamo, jer da nema toga vjerojatno potrošene već sve pare od borbe, nego bi posuđivao okolo. Ono, doslovno večerajem 7 bifteka, što je malo previše.
Čekaj, ozbiljno?
Ozbiljno.
7 bifteka?
Da, i najgore od svega je toga da sam ja gladan nakon pol ure.
A kak ti to sjedne? Mislim, to je takva mesina koja kad se zacementira dolje stari, kak ideš na WC?
Normalno, brate.
Normalno?
35 puta dnevno.
35 puta dnevno.
Di god dođe, ono sidam, brate. Prije kod dite je bilo sram, znaš, ono, neću, dragi. Rupa, može.
To je rekao i ovaj Miša je nedavno bio tu isto, kaže da pojede tjedno 150 jaja dnevno, ne znam, kilu mesa. Isto sam ga pitao, kažu isto, 8 puta dnevno na WC-u.
I sad, ono,
samo
nije da jedem samo meso, nego jeden i sranja, ono. Sad tu se dogovaramo i će se McDonald's poslije, vjerovatno. Jebi ga, lipo je, ali kad počnu od sljedećeg, sad idem za Amsterdam, kad počnu pripreme, ono, ne radim to sebi, onda ono, neću pazi koliko jedem, ali pazit ću šta jedem da bude šta kvalitetnije između sve, da bude to kako treba. Ali sada ono, kad mogu, zašto ne, realno da ima 2 godine, ja nisam na ja nikako, ono, ja sam vječno gladan, uvijek patija i onda mi je sad ono, sve mi je zanimljivo, ono, da mogu, nekad zaboravim da sam mogu doći jest, ono, nego stajem kao šta bi ja sa neku piletinu, jebala te piletina, daj mi ono, nešto punjeno dobro.
Daj punjeno dobro. Kaže Mike da u biti još jedna borba i onda misli da si next in line. Kažem, čitao sam i intervju od tvojeg menadžera, mislim da je bilo na Fight Site ili negdje, i rekao godina i pol, prema svemu sudeći zbog ove ovakve impresivne pobjede sa debujom i nedostatka izazivača kod Rika, mogli bi se to dogoditi prije, jel bi ti to i htio ili ne bi?
Realno, ako Overem odustane,
pa da, zato i kažem.
To sam ja, ako ne odustane, još jedna borba, pa ja. Sad samo na meni je cilj, nakon meča nisam htio dopustiti da slučajno Riko krene trenirati prije mene, nego sam sad vratio, znači u subotu je bio meč, ja sam u ponedjeljak bio u dvorani Senijen. Radili smo uteje, tako da nisam htio da se desi da neko ili trenira više od mene, da je neko gladniji od mene ili ono ništa neće prepustiti slučaju. Znači, sad će se desiti neka ozljeda ili nešto, na to ne mogu utjecati, ali znači na sve da bude 100%, da budem spreman, da se ne zajebajem, ono, nego da je sve kako treba. To trenutno radim i spreman se i psihički i fizički da uđem u taj meč i pobjedim. Meni bi bilo drago da napokon završim tu dominaciju Rika. I mislim da ovo kako se borija zadnju borbu, da li se tako borija sa menom, da imam dobre šanse. Normalno, može se desiti da uđem s njim u ring, da on meni jednostavno ne paše, da sam ne mogu boriti s njim nikako, ali po svemu sudeći sada, nema razloga zašto mi on ne bi pasao. Ne znam, ne vidi ništa što on radi, što bi meni možda trebalo biti čudno. Da neko u Majka to već ne radi ili plus što Mike ima iskustva borenja sa njim koliko god hoćeš.
Da, baš ima, to sam i ja rekao. Ovo je nekoliko tipova koji su ga napadali.
Da, 10 borbi imam protiv njega, tako da ja mislim da se eto, hvala Bogu, meni sve posložilo, da može to tako biti. I normalno, ako ga pobjedim, on odmah ima pravo, traži revanš. Tako da...
mislim i zaslužio koliko dominira.
Normalno, logično, da.
Mislim, šta. Zadnje pitanje, pa ćemo ići na pauzu. Mike je došao danas, tako da radit ćemo i Q&A, većina će tamo pitanja biti za tebe. Je vam bio šok u dvorani kad je Bader otišao i da li će ti faliti? Znam da ste vi, on je rekao da ste teamed up, da ste bili tim i on ti je vjerojatno bio glavni sparring partner. Pa bi sigurno će ti faliti na neki način.
Šta jedan od dječačkih snova se prekrižija kao ček. Sad je tu Saki isto ček.
Da, isto Saki.
To sve ljudi na koje sam se ugledao, koji su bili, od kojih sam toliko puta pogledao, se naučio. Ja sam rekao u jednom trenutku da se borim sa Baderom, bija bi sretan kao mala beba. Ne bi tija, ali bi ja sretan. Sad da me neko pita želim se sad boriti sa njim, iskreno, ne bi tija takve borbe, ali ako se desi, desi se. A sada će mi faliti, tako je kako je, razumijem i njega, dugo je tu u dvorane sve, možda i njemu treba promjena šta i normalno.
A neka šok terapija, znaš kako trenera u klubu promjene samo da bude?
Ja ne mislim da ovo što on sa Sajdom radi, da je to valja. I ne mislim da će napredovati jer ljudi možda to ne vide, ali borba od Badera je Mike, to možda ne izgleda tako, ali to je tako. I sad vidit ćemo, hoće se oporaviti, hoće se vratiti, ali sve ovo dosad što sam vidio i snimaka od treninga od Sajda i sve što se radio sa njim, meni se to ne sviđa i za neku lakšu kategoriju, 70 kila, ja mislim da on radi možda dobar posao i da ima rezultate, ali za teškaša meni on trener nije i mislim da ne radi dobre stvari i da neće se on baš sa njim proslaviti. A vidit ćemo. A sad da mi je žao, žao mi je i nije mi žao, jebi ga, tako je kako je, to je to.
Posao, just business.
Da, drago mi ga je, vidi, javi se sve ludilo, ali... Znaš, i ja sam takav...
Bio sam slavio tvoju zadnju pobjedu, baš bio je u gradu.
Da, ali ja sam takav da, tako kad je neko ko Badar ili Saki ili ovo, ja ne želim biti ima puno liko oko njih, kad ih vide, kužiš, bi se sa njima sve, razumiš, drago je. Drago i mene, ali ne želim biti neka pilana sada, šetam za njima, da se družimo, ako se družimo, ako se desi spontano, desi se, ako se ne desi se sa da sada s njim dogovarate, ja imamo pit pića, na večer, ti imaš svoje, ja imam svoje, kužiš, pusti me da idem igrati igrice u sobu, a ne da moram saluta ide na piće ili nešto. Ali, mislim, jebi ga ja gore kad dođem.
Ne razumijem šta hoćeš reći.
Ako ćemo se dogovoriti, ludilo, ali ako neću biti ja taj koji forsira to sada nešto. Tako da nisam to ništa isforsirao sa njim, dok ima drugih što ih ja znam osobno što nisu forsirali, ali nije drago, razumiješ, i dopisivao se sve meni, ako se desi da mi kliknemo da smo dobri, desit će se, ako se ne desi, nema veze, ali to je to.
Sve jasno, stari. Završit ćemo ovaj prvi dio, zato što većina, kažem, pitanja će doći za tebe, pa da te ne pitam iste stvari što će te ljudi već pitat. Mike, we will finish this first part. We also have Q&A. It's a lot shorter. This was almost 2 hours. It's a lot shorter, so you'll answer a few questions. And Antonio also, now we have a small break. It's like 2 or 3 minutes just for toilet. Ekipa, hvala vam što ste bili s nama. Još jedna epizoda Podcast Inkubatora. Za par trenutaka smo natrag i čitamo pitanja sa novog Xiaomija 11 Lite PG New Edition. To je to. Znači, za par trenutaka nazad, Mike Passenier, Antonio Plazibat. Hvala.